Hello and welcome. Today, you will learn English through a motivational story. This is the first episode of David's journey. Listen carefully and enjoy the story. David was 18 years old. He lived in a small town with his mother and younger sister. Their house was small. The roof leaked when it rained. The paint on the walls was old. They did not have much money. David's mother worked long hours at a local store. She was kind and hard-working. Every evening, she returned home tired. David often watched her quietly. He wished he could help her. He wished he could make life easier for his family. But he was only 18. He had no job, no experience, and no clear path to success. One morning, David graduated from high school. His classmates were excited. Some planned to go to college. Others already had jobs waiting for them. Everyone seemed to know what they wanted. Everyone except David. As he walked home that afternoon, many thoughts filled his mind. What should I do? How can I become successful? How can I help my family? He did not know the answers, but he knew one thing. He wanted more from life. Much more. That night, David sat outside his house. The sky was full of stars. A cool wind moved through the trees. David looked up at the sky. He imagined a different future. A future where his mother did not have to work so hard. A future where his sister could attend a good school. A future where money was no longer a problem. For the first time, David made a promise to himself. I will become successful. The dream felt exciting. It also felt frightening, because dreams are easy, the journey is difficult. The next morning, David woke up early, very early, before the sun rose. He sat at the kitchen table with a notebook. On the first page, he wrote, "My goals." Then he paused. He stared at the blank page. What should he write? He did not know exactly what career he wanted. He did not know exactly how he would succeed. But he knew he wanted to learn. So he wrote, find a job, learn new skills, read every day, never give up. He smiled. It was a simple list, but it was a start. For the next few weeks, David searched for work. Every morning he walked through town. He visited shops, restaurants, small businesses, anywhere that might need help. At each place, he asked the same question. Are you hiring? Most people answered the same way. No, sorry. Sometimes they were polite. Sometimes they barely looked at him. Each rejection felt painful, but David continued searching. One afternoon, he visited a hardware store. The manager seemed friendly. He asked David a few questions. David felt hopeful, very hopeful. Maybe this would be his first job. Maybe this was the opportunity he needed. The manager looked at David's application. Then he asked, "Do you have any work experience?" David shook his head. "No, sir." The manager nodded slowly. A few minutes later, he said, "I'm sorry. We need someone with experience." David thanked him and left. As he walked home, disappointment filled his heart. He had prepared. He had tried. But it was not enough. That evening, David sat alone in his room. For the first time, doubt entered his mind. Maybe success was harder than he imagined. Maybe other people were simply luckier. Maybe his dreams were too big. He stared at the ceiling. The room was silent. Then he heard a knock on the door. It was his mother. She entered and sat beside him. "What is wrong?" she asked gently. David explained everything. The job search, the rejection, the frustration. His mother listened carefully. When he finished, she smiled. Then she said, "David, every strong tree starts as a small seed." David looked at her. For the next few weeks, her words stayed with him long after she left the room. The next day, David decided to visit the public library. He had never spent much time there before. The building was quiet. Rows of books filled the shelves. David felt curious. He walked through the aisles: business books, self-improvement books, biographies, success stories. So many people had started with nothing. So many people had faced failure. Yet, they continued moving forward. David borrowed several books. That evening, instead of watching television, he started reading. The more he read, the more he realized something. Successful people were not special. They simply refused to quit. Days turned into weeks. David developed new habits. He woke up early. He exercised. He read books. He learned new things. His life began to change, not on the outside, but on the inside. He became more disciplined, more focused, more determined. However, one problem remained. He still did not have a job. One morning, David saw a job advertisement online. A local company was looking for a junior office assistant. The position seemed perfect. David became excited. He spent hours preparing. He created the best resume he could. He practiced interview questions. He borrowed a clean shirt from his uncle. For days, he imagined receiving the job. He imagined calling his mother with good news. He imagined earning his first paycheck. This felt different. This felt important. A week later, the company invited him for an interview. David could hardly believe it. His first interview. His first real opportunity. The night before the interview, he barely slept. He felt nervous, excited, afraid, hopeful, all at the same time. The next morning, he arrived early. The interview lasted 30 minutes. The manager asked questions. David answered as best as he could. When it was over, the manager smiled and shook his hand. "Thank you for coming." As David left the building, he felt confident. Maybe he had done enough. Maybe this was the beginning of his new life. 3 days later, an email arrived. David opened it immediately. His heart beat faster. He began reading. Then his smile disappeared. The company had chosen another candidate. David read the email again and again. He hoped he had misunderstood, but the answer was clear. He had failed. His first interview, his first big opportunity, gone. That evening, David walked alone through town. The streets were quiet. The sun was setting. For the first time, his dream felt very far away. He thought about giving up, just for a moment. Maybe success was not meant for people like him. Maybe he should stop dreaming so big. Maybe he should accept an ordinary life. David sat on a bench and stared at the ground. Then he remembered something. His mother's tired face, his sister's hopes for the future, and the promise he had made under the stars. "I will become successful." Slowly, he stood up. The rejection still hurt. The disappointment was still there. But something else was there too: determination. As David walked home, he made a decision. He would not quit. He would learn. He would improve. He would try again. Because one rejection could not decide his future, not unless he allowed it to. Little did David know the challenges ahead would be even greater. More failures were coming. More lessons were waiting. And his journey was only beginning.